The year was 2087. Humans had built small homes on Mars and sent workers to mine rocks in the space between Mars and Jupiter. Earth was busy, full of life, and reaching out to the stars bit by bit. Lisa Downing sat at her desk in the United Earth Space Agency control room. Her eyes were tired from staring at screens all day. Her job was to listen for signals from space, though most days brought nothing new. That changed when her computer began to beep loudly. "Jack, come look at this," she called to Commander Jack Peterson, who was passing by her station. Jack walked over, his coffee mug in hand. "What is it, Lisa?" "I'm picking up a signal. It's not from any of our ships or stations." Her fingers moved quickly across the keyboard. "It's coming from deep space, way beyond our solar system." Jack set his mug down and leaned closer to the screen. "Are you sure it's not just space noise?" Lisa shook her head. "No, it has a pattern. This is artificial. Someone sent this." Over the next few days, Lisa worked with other experts to understand the message. The signal contained pictures, sounds, and a simple language guide. It was a greeting from something called the Galactic Confederation, a group of 27 different alien species who traveled between stars. The message said they had been watching Earth for decades. They knew about human wars, music, art, and struggles. Now, they wanted to talk. The news spread across Earth like wildfire. Some people were scared, others excited. Religious groups argued about what it meant. Scientists were thrilled. Military leaders worried. 6 months later, ships from the Confederation arrived in Earth's orbit. They were smooth and silver, much more advanced than anything humans had built. The aliens chose to meet with world leaders at the United Nations building in New York. The alien who spoke first called himself Ambassador Zrel. He looked almost human, except for his blue-tinted skin and large, dark eyes. "We welcome Earth to the galactic community," Zrel said through a translation device. "Your species has reached the threshold of interstellar capability. We offer friendship, knowledge, and protection." President Allen of the North American Union stood up. "We thank you for this welcome. What exactly does membership in your confederation mean for Earth?" Zrel smiled, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. "We will share technology that will end your energy problems. We will help you travel to other stars. We will protect you from hostile forces in the galaxy." The room was silent until Lisa Downing, invited as the person who found the signal, raised her hand. "What do you want in return?" Zrel turned to her. "Smart question. We ask that Earth limit its military development. We require oversight of your expansion into space. These are standard conditions for all new members." Debate raged for weeks. Some nations wanted to accept immediately. Others saw the limits as a threat to human freedom. In private meetings, Jack Peterson argued against joining. "They've been watching us for decades but only contacted us now. When we're starting to explore space on our own, that feels like they want to control us, not help us." In the end, the lure of advanced technology won out. Earth's largest nations voted to join the Confederation. The aliens set up an embassy in orbit and began to share some of their knowledge. Frank Winters, a colonel in the Space Forces, was put in charge of working with the alien military advisors. After their first meeting, he found Jack in the cafeteria. "Those aliens were asking strange questions," Frank said quietly. "They wanted to know how quickly we can adapt to new weapons, how we handle surprise attacks, why we have so many different fighting styles." Jack nodded slowly. "Did you notice how they flinch when humans move too quickly? I don't think they're telling us everything." "No," Frank agreed. "I think they're afraid of us. The question is why." 5 years passed since Earth joined the Galactic Confederation. The aliens kept their promise about sharing technology. Humans now had better medicines, cleaner energy, and faster spaceships. The first human visitors had even traveled to other star systems. Diane Miller stood by the large window on Nexus Prime, the massive space station where the Confederation held its meetings. Stars glittered all around her. The blue-skinned alien nodded as he walked past. Diane nodded back. She was Earth's main voice in the Confederation, and she had learned to fit in. Her friend Greg Thompson joined her at the window. "Big meeting today," he said. "They're finally letting us join the Technology Exchange Committee." Diane frowned slightly. After 5 years, most new members get in after 2. "Better late than never," Greg shrugged. "At least they're starting to trust us." Later that day, Diane sat in a meeting room with aliens from 12 different worlds. Some had scales, others had 6 arms, and one looked like a walking tree. They discussed sharing medical technology between worlds. The tree-like alien, named Brolth, moved its branches in what Diane had learned was a sign of worry. "But humans change so quickly," Brolth said. "If we share our plant-based healing methods, how do we know they won't turn them into weapons?" "We would never," Diane began, but was cut off by Israel, the same blue-skinned alien who had first come to Earth. "The humans are still new," Israel said smoothly. "We monitor their development closely." Diane felt a chill. The way he said monitor sounded like control. After the meeting, Diane went to the station's library. She had been studying the Confederation's history. Today she learned that Earth was the youngest member by far. Most species had spent thousands of years in space before being invited to join. She asked the library computer, why was Earth admitted so early? The alien writing on the screen translated to, "Access denied. Historical admission criteria restricted." Curious, Diane used a special code Gray had discovered to unlock deeper files. What she found made her stomach tighten. There were old debates about Earth, from before humans even knew aliens existed. One file showed a Zethari, a bird-like alien with golden feathers, speaking to the Council. Humanity must be contained. Their war history shows dangerous patterns. If they reach the stars independently, without our guidance and limits, they could destabilize the entire sector. Another file showed voting records. The final decision to contact Earth had passed by a narrow margin. The reason given was, containment through membership is preferable to independent human expansion. Diane copied the files and sent them through a secure channel to Frank Winters back on Earth. That night, Greg knocked on her door. "Did you see the Zethari delegation today?" he asked when she let him in. "The way they look at us is strange, like they're afraid." "I found something," Diane said, and told him about the files. Greg sat heavily in a chair. "So they didn't invite us to join because we were ready. They invited us to control us." "Yes, but why are they so afraid? We're centuries behind them in technology." The next day, Diane attended a security briefing. The Confederation was concerned about a species called the Vraxians causing trouble at the edges of known space. When images appeared on the screen, Diane noticed something odd. The Vraxians looked somewhat like humans. 2 arms, 2 legs, similar height. But the Zethari representative seemed nervous just showing their picture. After the meeting, Diane overheard 2 aliens talking in what they thought was a private corner. "The humans are too similar to the precursors," one whispered. "Have you seen how quickly they adapt our technology? It took us centuries to understand quantum folding. They mastered it in 5 years. The Council was right to bring them in early," the other replied. "Better to guide them than face them." Diane pretended she hadn't heard and walked away. That night, she sent another message to Frank. "I don't think they're just monitoring us. I think they're afraid of what we might become." The exploration ship Pathfinder drifted through the darkness of space. It was the newest and fastest ship humans had built using Confederation technology. Dr. Karen Hall looked out the window at the unfamiliar stars. The Pathfinder had gone farther than any human ship before. "We're approaching the edge of mapped space," Captain Steve Mason said as he joined her. "Confederation records say this area is empty, but our scans show a star system ahead." Karen smiled. "First human discovery of a new star system. That should impress the Confederation." "Maybe they'll stop treating us like children," Steve said. 2 Confederation observers, a blue-skinned centauri, and a tree-like Brolth, watched from the corner. They had been sent to assist the human crew, but mostly they just took notes on everything the humans did. As the Pathfinder entered the system, sensors started beeping. "Captain, I'm detecting artificial structures on the fourth planet," said Joe, the sensor operator. "And ships. Lots of ships." The Confederation observers looked at each other with alarm. The Centauri pressed a device on his wrist and spoke quickly in his language. "Who are they?" Steve asked the observers. "Your record said this system was empty." "We should leave immediately," the Centauri said. "This is Vraxian territory. They are hostile." Before the Pathfinder could turn around, 3 alien ships appeared. They were dark gray with red markings and bristled with weapons. A message came through in broken Confederation standard language. "Identify yourselves." Steve stepped forward. "This is Captain Steve Mason of the Earth ship Pathfinder. We are on a peaceful exploration mission." There was a long pause. Then, "Confederation spies. Prepare to be destroyed." The Vraxian ships opened fire. The Pathfinder shook as energy blasts hit its shields. "Evasive action," Steve ordered. "Get us out of here." The Pathfinder turned and accelerated, but the Vraxian ships were faster. They circled around, cutting off the escape path. "Shields at 60%, Joe reported. "We can't outrun them." Karen looked at the ship's systems on her screen. "Captain, I have an idea. The new drive can release plasma as a byproduct. If we vent it while making a tight turn." Steve caught on quickly. "We could create a cloud they can't see through." "Do it." The Pathfinder made a sharp turn and released a massive cloud of glowing plasma. The Vraxian ships lost track of their target for a few crucial seconds. "Now, Joe, target their engine sections with everything we've got," Steve ordered. The Pathfinder fired its weapons through the plasma cloud. The shots hit one Vraxian ship's engines. It spun out of control and crashed into another ship. Both exploded in a ball of flame. The third Vraxian ship tried to retreat, but the Pathfinder was now on the offensive. Karen had reconfigured the sensors to find a weak spot in the alien ship's design. "There's a gap in their shield coverage near their power core," she said. "A targeted hit there should disable them without destroying the ship." Steve nodded. "Do it." One precise shot later, the Vraxian ship went dark, drifting powerless in space. The Confederation observers stared at the humans with wide eyes. The Centauri's blue skin had turned pale. "How did you?" the Broth observer began. "The Vraxians have been raiding Confederation borders for decades. Their ships are more advanced than this vessel." Steve shrugged. "We improvised." "You defeated 3 military vessels with an exploration ship," the Centauri said, "in less than 5 minutes." Later, after the Pathfinder safely returned to Confederation space, the observers sent an urgent message to the High Council. It read simply, "The humans can fight. They adapt faster than we thought possible. They are more dangerous than we feared." On Earth, Frank Winters received a report about the incident. He smiled as he read how the Pathfinder had defeated ships it should have had no chance against. Perhaps now he understood why the aliens were so afraid. News about the Pathfinder's victory over the Vraxian ships spread quickly through the Confederation. Many aliens now looked at humans with new eyes, some with respect, others with fear. On Nexus Prime, the great space station where the Confederation met, Diane Miller and Greg Thompson noticed the change. Aliens who had been friendly now kept their distance. Others watched humans closely, as if expecting them to attack at any moment. High Counselor Zithvar, a golden-feathered Zethari, called for an emergency meeting of the Confederation Council. His feathers were puffed up in alarm as he spoke. "The human advancement must be controlled," he said to the gathered representatives of 27 worlds. "They have been members for only 5 years, but already they take our technology and improve it in ways we did not expect. Now they show dangerous combat skills." Diane stood up to speak. "With respect, High Counselor, the Pathfinder was attacked without reason. The crew only defended themselves. An exploration ship should not be able to defeat 3 Vraxian war vessels, SciFi said. It suggests humans have military capabilities beyond what you have reported to us. The Council voted that day. By a large margin, they approved new rules for Earth. Humans would have to remove weapons from their ships. They would need permission to build new colonies. Confederation observers would be placed in all human military bases. When Diane told Earth's leaders about these new rules, they were angry. President Laura Collins called a meeting with her top advisors. "This is not what we agreed to when we joined," she said. "They're treating us like children, or prisoners." Frank Winters, now a general, nodded. "They've been afraid of us from the start. Now they're showing their true intentions." "But why?" Laura asked. "We're still far behind them in technology." Diane, who had returned to Earth for the meeting, shared what she and Greg had discovered in the Confederation's old records. "We found mentions of something called precursors. The records are incomplete, but they suggest these precursors were a powerful species that disappeared long ago." "And what does that have to do with us?" Laura asked. "The records mention warnings about the inheritors of the third planet. Earth is the third planet from our sun," Diane explained. "They think we're related to these precursors," Frank asked. "Maybe," Diane said. "Whatever the reason, they're scared of what we might become." Over the next month, Earth prepared its answer to the Confederation's new rules. In secret, factories built new weapons using modified alien technology. Military bases across Earth and Mars trained for different scenarios. Ships were equipped with special communication systems that the Confederation couldn't monitor. When everything was ready, President Laura broadcast a message to the Confederation Council. "People of Earth have carefully considered the new restrictions," she said, her voice calm but firm. "We joined the Confederation as equals, not as subjects. We respect the ancient wisdom of the member species, but we cannot accept limits on our right to protect ourselves and grow as we choose. Therefore, Earth respectfully declines to follow the new restrictions." The council chamber erupted in shouts and calls for punishment. High Counselor Sithfar's feathers stood straight up in alarm. "This is unprecedented," he declared. "No new member has ever defied the Council's wisdom." The Council quickly voted to issue an ultimatum to Earth: accept the restrictions or be cut off from all Confederation technology and trade. When Greg heard about this, he found Diane in her office. "What will Earth do now?" he asked. "We need their technology." Diane smiled slightly. "Perhaps less than they think. Our scientists have been studying their tech for 5 years, and we've made some improvements they don't know about." That night, Earth sent its answer to the ultimatum. It was just 3 words: "We respectfully decline." The Confederation Council was still arguing about how to respond to Earth's defiance when something unexpected happened. All communication from Earth suddenly stopped. Ships approaching the solar system found they could not enter. A network of small, powerful satellites had appeared around the entire system overnight. The satellites formed a protective shield that no Confederation ship could pass through. On Nexus Prime, aliens rushed to the human embassy, only to find it empty. During the night, all humans had packed up and left without telling anyone. The few humans still on other Confederation worlds quietly boarded their ships and departed. High Counselor Sithfar called an emergency meeting. His golden feathers were completely flat against his body, a sign of extreme alarm. "The humans have gone silent," he told the council. "They have placed defense systems around their entire solar system. Our sensors can't even scan past them to see what they are doing." "How is this possible?" asked a Centauri representative. "They couldn't have built such a system without us knowing." "They have been planning this," Zithfar said, "using our technology against us." The Broth representative moved its branches nervously. "Should we send ships to break through their defenses?" "I would advise against that," said the military commander, a large reptilian alien named Kraz. "The few ships that got close report the human defenses are more advanced than anything we have. 3 ships tried to force their way through. 2 were disabled instantly. The third barely escaped." Fear spread through the Confederation. If humans could build such powerful defenses so quickly and secretly, what else were they capable of? On Earth, General Frank Winters stood in the control center of the new defense grid. Screens showed the positions of all Confederation ships keeping their distance from the solar system. "The shield is working perfectly," said a technician. "No one can get in without our permission." President Laura nodded. "And our special projects?" "Moving ahead of schedule," Frank replied. "The new ships are almost ready. The colony ships left last night through the back door." The back door was a secret faster-than-light route out of the solar system that Earth scientists had discovered but never shared with the Confederation. In his private office, Andy Clark, Earth's top intelligence officer, recorded one last message to be sent to the Confederation. He looked directly into the camera. "You feared what we might become. Now you will fear what we already are." He sent the message on all Confederation channels, then shut down the communication system. Earth had gone silent. Weeks passed. The Confederation ships continued to watch the solar system from a safe distance, but humans showed no signs of wanting to talk. Some council members wanted to gather a large fleet and attack Earth before humans grew even stronger. Others warned that such an attack might trigger a response they couldn't handle. "We should have never invited them to join," said a Zethari scientist. "We could have just watched them from a distance." "The mistake was thinking we could control them," said Kraz. "Humans don't think like other species. They see restrictions as challenges to overcome." In a private meeting, Zithvar consulted the oldest records of the Confederation, searching for information about the precursors and their connection to Earth. What he found made his feathers droop in terror. The records spoke of the precursors as being nearly unstoppable in battle because they could adapt to any situation. They thought differently than other species, seeing solutions where others saw only problems. And the precursors had visited Earth millions of years ago, possibly leaving something of themselves behind in human DNA. Zithvar looked out at the stars, wondering what humans were doing behind their shield of silence. Were they building weapons, planning revenge, or something even the Confederation couldn't imagine? Whatever it was, the silence from Earth was more frightening than any threat. 2 years passed. Earth remained silent. The Confederation kept ships watching the solar system, but dared not approach the defensive shield. They waited for humans to make the next move, but nothing happened. At least, nothing they could see. Then strange reports began to come in from distant parts of the galaxy. A mining colony on the edge of Confederation space was attacked by pirates. The colony sent out a distress call, but before Confederation ships could arrive, an unknown vessel appeared. It drove away the pirates, helped repair the colony systems, and left without identifying itself. The miners described a ship unlike any in the Confederation, with clean lines and powerful weapons. The crew wore suits that hid their faces, but their body shape looked human. A month later, a research station reported a similar encounter. Then a trade ship. Soon, stories of the mysterious helpers spread throughout the galaxy. In a bar on a distant space station, a Vraxian trader drank alone. His people rarely visited Confederation space since their ships had been defeated by the human vessel Pathfinder. A Centauri official approached him. "Tell me about your people's recent dealings with humans," the Centauri said. The Vraxian looked up sharply. "We do not speak of them." "Why? Are you afraid?" The Vraxian laughed, a harsh sound. "Not afraid. Respectful. They are not what you think they are. They fight differently. They think differently. And they do not forget either enemies or friends." "What do you mean?" the Centauri pressed. "After our ships attacked their exploration vessel, we expected revenge. Instead, 3 months later, humans appeared at our colony world that was suffering from a deadly plant disease. They gave us the cure and left. They turned enemies into friends with a single act of mercy." The Vraxian finished his drink. "That is why we avoid Confederation space now. We will not risk being your tools against humans." On a small moon far from any major trade routes, 2 humans worked in secret. Melanie Ward and Daniel Lewis had been intelligence agents on Earth. Now they ran a hidden outpost, one of dozens scattered beyond Confederation space. "The rumors are spreading as planned," Daniel said, looking at reports on his screen. 3 more Confederation trading companies have asked to meet with human representatives. Melanie nodded. "And our special project?" Daniel smiled. "Working perfectly. Each time one of our ships helps a Confederation world, we make sure the story spreads. We let them see just enough to wonder what else we can do." "And the false information?" "Being picked up by their intelligence networks," Daniel confirmed. "They now believe we have colonies in at least 20 systems beyond their borders." "Do they suspect it's not true?" "That's the beauty of it," Daniel said. "We do have ships and outposts in those places, just not full colonies yet, but their fear fills in the gaps with worst-case scenarios." Meanwhile, on Nexus Prime, the Confederation Council was in turmoil. High Counselor Zithvar's feathers were permanently flattened against his body these days. "The humans are expanding beyond our borders," he told the Council. "Reports indicate they have established contact with 15 non-Confederation species, including the Vraxians. Could we block their expansion?" asked a Reptilian Council member. Commander Kraz shook his head. "We don't know where their ships will appear next, and attacking them directly might trigger a full response from Earth." The Brolth representatives' branches drooped. "What do they want? Why help our colonies and then vanish?" "They are waging a different kind of war," said a new voice. A Zethari intelligence officer stepped forward. "Not with weapons, but with information and perception. Each appearance of a human ship sends a message. We could have been your allies, but you chose to make us your subjects." In the silence that followed, many council members wondered if they had made a terrible mistake in trying to control humanity rather than truly welcoming them as equals. 5 years after Earth went silent, the Confederation had changed. Many member worlds now openly questioned the Council's decisions. Some had even begun secret talks with human representatives. The fear of humans had spread, but so had curiosity and respect. Then, without warning, Earth spoke again. It happened on a normal day. On every Confederation world, all communication devices activated at once. The face of a human woman appeared on screens everywhere. She wore a simple blue uniform with the symbol of Earth on her shoulder. "People of the Galactic Confederation," she said, "I am President Laura Collins of Earth. For 5 years, we have watched and waited. Today, we extend our hand in friendship again, but on new terms." Across the galaxy, aliens stopped to listen. On Nexus Prime, the Council gathered in emergency session. "Earth is not your enemy," Laura continued. "We never were, but we will not be controlled. We offer an alternative path forward." The screens changed to show technical drawings. They were plans for a new type of faster-than-light drive, more efficient than any the Confederation had. Next came medical technologies that could cure diseases the Confederation struggled with. "These gifts are freely given," Laura said, "but we also offer truth." The screens changed again, showing internal Confederation documents. They revealed how the High Council had deliberately kept certain technologies from member worlds to maintain control, how they had limited development for centuries. "The Confederation was built on fear," Laura said. "Fear of change, fear of growth, fear of difference. We offer a new way." She explained that Earth had formed the Solar Alliance with several species beyond Confederation space, including the Vraxians. The alliance was based on principles of sovereignty and mutual aid. Each member world governed itself, but shared knowledge and protection freely. "We invite all Confederation worlds to consider joining us," Laura finished, "not as subjects, but as true partners." The message ended, but its impact had just begun. Across the Confederation, people demanded answers from their leaders. Had they really been kept from advancing? Was the Confederation built on lies? 3 days later, a fleet of ships appeared at the edge of Confederation space. They were of human design but far larger and more advanced than anything the Confederation had seen before. They headed directly for Nexus Prime. Panic spread through the station. Would the humans attack? Had the 5 years of silence been preparation for war? The lead human ship sent a message. This is Ambassador Ryan Cooper and Defense Attaché Nicole Hayes of the Solar Alliance, requesting permission to dock and address the Confederation Council. After hurried debate, the Council agreed. When the human representatives entered the Council chamber, everyone fell silent. Behind Ryan and Nicole walked representatives of 7 other species, including Avraxian. Ryan spoke first. 5 years ago, you gave Earth a choice: submit or be isolated. We chose a third path. We built. We explored. We made friends instead of subjects. He gestured to the aliens who had come with him. The Solar Alliance now includes 12 member worlds and 17 associate members. Nicole stepped forward. We have no desire for war or dominance, but neither will we accept limitations on our growth or sovereignty. She placed a data crystal on the council table. This contains technological advances that could benefit all your worlds. It also contains an invitation to join the Alliance as equals. High Counselor Zithvar's feathers trembled. You ask us to abandon the Confederation structure that has maintained peace for thousands of years. Ryan shook his head. We ask you to evolve it. Fear of change has held this galaxy back for too long. In the weeks that followed, 7 Confederation worlds announced they would join the Solar Alliance. Others began negotiations. The old order was crumbling. On Earth, Frank Winters watched the news with satisfaction. They never needed to fear what humans might become, he told President Laura. They needed to fear what would happen if they forced us to show what we truly are. Laura nodded. Not conquerors, not destroyers. She looked at the stars visible through the window. Catalysts for change.